Victim, survivor, overcomer, victor. The art is done by a human trafficking survivor in honor of a very dear friend of hers. This piece is a dyad. The left side illustrates her story of family of origin abuse and then sex trafficking. The right is her journey from a victim mentality to that of a survivor, to an overcomer, and ultimately as a victor. The victim mindset leaves me hopeless, helpless, and powerless. This is signified by the wristband that says no one sees that she's a child porn victim. She's tormented by nightmares in her sleep, and it's a hellish existence. The handcuffs represent being stuck, restrained, or captive. And then above her eyeglasses across her forehead, it's written out of order because trauma affects her thought processes. No mouth indicates she's voiceless but tormented because on her face are numerous judgments and slapbacks that counselors, teachers, and others actually said to her. Robert Frost's poem titled Lodged is here. The rain to the wind said, "You push and I'll pelt." They so smote the garden bed that the flowers actually knelt and lay lodged, though not dead. I know how the flowers felt. And all the while, she's a student in school. If you tilt your head to the right, it says, "Life is great." And to the left, it says, "I hate myself." And you notice the whole picture is in a noose. She sees her reflection in the mirror as evil. She's come into agreement with what she's been told. Now the shift begins from victim to survivor. Hopelessness begins to relent. She quotes Psalm 40, saying, "He lifted me out of the pit of despair." Now there's a change of perspective. The birth of hope is represented by the helium balloon. She quotes Song of Solomon, chapter 2, "His banner over me is love." Now she's beginning to make the shift from survivor to overcomer as her helplessness begins to relent. The mirror that reflected evil before is broken with dancing shoes hanging from it. That means she's able to move. She's no longer restrained or stuck. This says, God knows what broke your heart and where to find all the pieces. He's going to love you back together again. And now she's having dreams, pleasant dreams instead of nightmares. The lotus flower signifies purity and devotion, or even ascension, revelation, and rebirth. Instead of her brain being out of order, now her thoughts say, "You are lovable. It's not your fault." No is a complete sentence. My voice matters. There's hope for me, and there are safe people. The barriers to trust that were necessary in her family of origin begin to crumble. The idea of relational safety begins to finally take root. She quotes Lamentations chapter 3 from the Message Bible. It says, "I'll never forget the trouble, the utter lostness, the taste of ashes, the poison I've swallowed. I remember it all. Oh, how well I remember. The feeling of hitting the bottom. But there's one other thing I remember, and remembering, I keep a grip on hope. God's loyal love couldn't have run out. His merciful love couldn't have dried up. They're created new every morning. How great your faithfulness. I'm sticking with God. I say it over and over. He's all I've got left." And now here's the last transition from overcomer to victor. Her powerlessness is dissipating now. The "I believe you" is validated when her story is accepted as true. She's clothed in strength and dignity. This is a quote from Andrea Bolt. "Freedom is not about the size of your cage or power of your wings or non-attachment to a person or thing. Freedom is being so truly, madly, and deeply attached to your own soul that you can't bear it, if only for a moment, a life that doesn't honor it." Being a victor means you have energy to invest in others, a concern for the right, peace, and genuine respect for people. And the best thing is that earned authority is transferable. This time, "I believe you" means I can validate others as I share my triumph, my victory, and championing others around me. This piece of art was done in loving memory of a young man who died at 17 years old. He was trafficked with the artist, but the trauma of it was more than he could bear. So this piece commemorates his life. He was an excellent man, an amazing friend, and his death was a loss to us all. Thanks for taking the time to watch this tribute and to follow that journey from victim to survivor to overcomer to victor.